Hey everyone, it's your Sally coach. In this video, we're going to be learning the Hill Cipher and we're going to be learning about the 2x2 matrix. So first, we're going to be going over some rules and then we'll get started on solving the cipher. So let's get started. So the first thing about matrices is that you're going to need to know a few rules on like multiplying, how to read them, and so on. So first, let's see how you read them. When you have a matrix, you're going to be wanting to read it in a way of like a Z pattern, I guess. So we would read it A, B, C, D like this, in this order. And we would call it a 2x2 cipher, but let's say we had something like this, perhaps, like X, Y, like that, right? Now this one would be a 1x2 because you read vertically and then you read horizontally. So when you're naming a matrix, you would say this one's like a 2x2 and this one is a 1x2. Next, let's go over how to multiply them. So for the Hill cipher, you only need to be multiplying a few different ways. The first one is when you're multiplying it with just a single digit. So say it's ABCD times X, right? This one is going to turn out to AX, CX, BX, and DX, just like this. But if we were multiplying by, let's say, a 2x1 matrix, right, then it would be different, like XY like that. Now it would turn into AX, then it would be BY, CX, and then DY. This is how it would work. All right, so we would multiply that top number to our A and then our C values, and we would multiply this Y, our second value, to our B and D values. So that's how we're going to be multiplying to figure out these values when we actually start solving the cipher. And before we move on to actually solving it, I'm going to show you what our formula that we're going to be using today in our Hill cipher, which is going to be the inverse of A, B, C, D. So the whole point is finding the inverse of this is going to equal to AD minus BC to the inverse. And before we find that inverse, we're going to be having to run a modulus of 26. So if you aren't sure about what a modulus of 26 is, that's when you have to add or subtract 26 to get a value within this table that we have right here. So this is going to be our letter to number table, and that's going to show us saying that like Z is 25, right? Let's say we had a number like 100 in our calculator, right? 100. Now we need to subtract or add that number so that we get a value from 0 to 25. So 100, right? If we want 0 to 25, we'd have to subtract. So 100 minus 26, minus 26, minus 26, and we would get a value like 22. So if we went through an entire formula and we got to 100, we would have to run a modulus of 26 and then get to a number and then take the inverse of that. So after this part right here, we're going to have to multiply that number times our other matrix, our inverse matrix. So that means we would have to switch our A and D values. So you have D in place of A and A in place of D, and then set B and C negative to each other. So this formula right here is what you need to know so that you are able to solve the Hill cipher. Now we're going to be going over how to exactly solve it using this formula. Alright, so now that we know the rules and how to read a matrix, let's now start solving the cipher. So we're going to look back at what it gives us, saying that jump is equal to this matrix. So now we see that 9 is going to be our A value. So we can put it in as 9 times D, which is going to be 15, minus B times C, which is going to be 20 times 12, and that's going to be our inverse. So let's look and put it into the calculator. 9 times 15 is equal to 135. And then we're going to subtract that by 20 times 12 times 12, which is equal to 240. And then we're going to put that into our calculator again. 135 minus 240 is equal to negative 105. And now we have to run that modulus of 26. So instead of just adding or subtracting 26 over and over again, instead we can run a trick and just find a multiple of 26. So these multiples are like 52, 104, 208, and we can keep on doing this until we get to that range. So instead of adding 26 over and over again, I can instantly add by 104, and then we can add by 26 and see that we get the number of 25. So we have 25 inversed, and if we look at our table up here, we look at the top first, and then we see what the inverse of that is. So the inverse of 25 is going to be 25. So now we have 25 times this like transformed matrix. So we're going to switch our A and D values. So it's going to be 15, 9, and then we have 20 and 12. So negative 20 and negative 12. So now that we have this, from before, those matrix rules are used to calculate what this is, right? So now we're going to have 25 times 15. I'll write it out. 25 times 15. Oh, let me make that smaller, actually. 25 times 15. And then we have negative 12. 25 times negative 12. And then we have 25 times negative 20. And then 25 times 9. So now we're going to multiply all of those and then find the modulus of it. So let's first look at 25 times 15. Let me just restart the calculator. 25 times 15, which is 375. So we have 375, which we're going to have to find the modulus of. And then we have 25 times negative 12. So 25 times 12, and then we're going to negate that to have negative 300. And then we have 25 times negative 20. 25 times 20. Negate it, and we have negative 500. And then you have 25 times 9. So 225. Now we're going to run a modulus on it to make our new matrix. So 375 minus a number like 208, and then minus like 104, minus 52, and we get 11 as our new number. So we have 11 right here as our first one. Next, we have negative 500. So if we have 500, negate it, and then we add by like 208. Oh, sorry. 500, negate it, add by 208. And then we add by 208 again. Add by 104. Now you have 20. Let's say we have negative 300 now. So 300 as a negative. Add 208. Add 104. We have 12. And lastly, we have 225 minus 104. Oh, I can just minus by 208. So 225 minus 208 is equal to 17. So now that's going to be our next step. So we have our new matrix as 11, 20, 12, and 17. That's going to be the inverse of our original matrix. And we're going to use that matrix to figure out the values of these next numbers in this next section. Alright, so now that we know our basic matrix rules and finding out the inverse, what we're going to have to do now is multiply our our inverse matrix, which is the 2x2 one, by a 2x1 one. So we have to find our first two values in our cipher text, which is going to be P and E, and we're going to multiply it by P and E, right? Now, instead of having these values as P and E, we're instead going to find it into number form, which is 15 and 4, right? We're going to have 15 and 4, and we're going to set this equal to 11 times 15, 12 times 15, 20 times 4, and 17 times 4. Now we're going to add our first two values, and then we're going to add our second two values. This is what we're going to do to get our values and our ending letters of our ciphertext. So let's start doing the math and have 11 times 15 is equal to 165. 165 plus 20 times 4 is going to be 80, right? So 165 plus 80 minus 208 minus 26, and we get 11. Next is going to be 12 times 15, which is 12 times 15, which is equal to 180. 180, and we have 17 times 4, which is equal to 68. So 180 plus 68 is equal to 248 minus 208 minus 26. That's 14. So now that we have 11 and 14, that's going to be plugged into our values from before. So P is going to be equal to 11 now, and 11 is equal to L. And then E is now going to equal to 14, and 14 is equal to O. So next we're going to be doing it for J and A. And pretty much this is the same exact thing we're going to do for all of them. It's very just a repetitive process, I guess. It takes some time to get a hand of, but once you do, it can be done pretty easily. I also say that if you're good at math, like you can do it in your head really fast, this is a cipher that you will be able to learn and figure out much faster than others. So now we can see that J is going to be 9 and A is 0. And now we're going to set that equal to 11 times 9, right? 11 times 9 is 99. And since we have 0 on the bottom, right? 20 times 0 is just 0, so we have 99, and we can just find the modulus of that. So minus 52, minus 26, and we get 21. It's 21. And now let's do 12 times 9. 12 times 9 is going to be 108, I believe. 12 times 9 is 108, minus 104, and you get 4. 21, 4, we set that equal to it. That's going to be V and E. So now we should do this over and over and over again. And I can skip that part because this is exactly what you need to know. I went over the formulas, I went over the matrix rules, and this is the last part, which is the somewhat tough part. Now, let's say we keep on going, right? And we find the answer. It's love, L-A-U-G, G-H-L-I-V-E, right? Now, something interesting is that we have one last letter left, right? Now, when some authors make these quotes and the test makers make these quotes, what happens is that it's an odd number of characters. When that happens, there's going to be one spot left, and that's always going to equal to Z. So if you are solving this quote, right, and let's say we get QH and we get Z, and it doesn't make sense, don't keep on trying over and over and over again to get a different type of character. This is how it's going to be. Sometimes it's just like one letter off. It's going to be an odd number of characters in the quote, and it's always going to be an even amount of letters in the ciphertext. And if that happens, you're just going to get Z at the very end. So that's going to be it for the 2x2 Hill cipher. This can be it for the matrix rules and all of that. And when you solve this cipher, you're going to be needing your inverse table to find out the inverse of your original matrix. And you're also going to need to have this to figure out the values in the end. So that's going to be it for the matrix cipher, for the Hill cipher, really. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for listening.